Hi guys, and welcome back to another Josephine's Creations video. We are back. It has been 3 months since I last uploaded on this channel. If you thought I was dead, or if you thought I was not going to upload anymore, well, you were wrong. If you have known where I've been at all this time, good on you. You watch my other channel. Hooray. That is my crochet and knitting channel and everything fiber arts related. So I don't need to explain anything because I wasn't off. I had a lot to do and I couldn't think of any video ideas. But here we are back. And this topic is one that is very interesting to me, to you, and to probably everybody watching, because why else would you have clicked on this video? Anyway, the topic of this video is, should you journal in a book or on your phone? And this is a very common subject brought up if you're thinking about journaling, because nowadays everything is like sort of tech-based and people don't usually do writing that much anymore unless you're in school. If you're a student, I'm sorry too if you are. I am too. I know it's hard out there, but most adults nowadays don't usually do much on paper anymore. They usually write online and do all their work stuff online. So in this video we will be debating if you watching this video should journal on your phone, the thing you're watching this on, or your iPad or whatever, or in a physical book that you can stack up and that is also not heat protected. So let's get into the points and the questions I have in this video. So let's get into this video. I've got my outline here. I know you cannot see it from very close up because we will be going through those questions together and you cannot skip ahead. I mean, you physically can, but please don't, because all these points are very important points as to if you should decide to use your phone or use your iPad or something else technological, or you should write in a book on a bookshelf like the ones behind me. No, these are not my books. Yes, this is my room. We don't need to talk about that. Anyway, first question. Do you enjoy writing? I know this is quite a controversial question because, like I said, students don't really have a choice. And a lot of students, after they come out of school, in college or after even that, they just have had it with writing because they've been writing like 5 days a week, almost every week apart from the holidays, and they really have had it. So you really need to ask yourself, do you actually enjoy writing? And if so, is it going to hurt? Like, is it going to hurt your wrists? Is it going to hurt your fingers? I have a weird way of writing and it does hurt a little bit to write, but all of these points just in general, that raises another question. Should you base your theory completely on this video? I don't think every single point that I'm going to mention should be a determining factor, but sort of like your takeaway overall should be, you know? And also, do you like the way your writing looks? Because for me, I have absolutely dreadful writing that nobody else can read, but I can read it and I actually don't mind my writing. It's not like the most beautiful thing that you see on Pinterest or YouTube or really anywhere, and it's not the stuff that you see in pretty writing books for little kindergartners so they can learn how to write properly. It's my writing is not all that. You can see at the top of this page right here where we've done the video title and subjects. It is not that great, okay? But I'm fine with it. So you need to ask yourself, am I okay with the way my writing looks? Will I be able to read it? because nobody else needs to be reading your journal unless that's something that you're okay with. In that case, you do you. But just make sure it's legible to the people you want to be able to read it, because otherwise that makes no sense. Because a lot of people journal to look back on it later or to get their feelings out. So I guess if you never plan on reading it again, you don't have to have good writing at all. But maybe once you're dead, your family members might want to have a look at it. Anyway, let's not get that far, because you're not dead yet. And you're still deciding if you want to journal at all, really. And you've gotten to this stage where you're like, phone or book? Anyway, are you a really slow writer? Is the next question. The reason I put this one on here is because I'm genuinely, like, I was always considered a fast writer at my other school. The school I'm currently at, I'd say I'm like middle ground writer. But if you are a really, really slow writer in this day and age, and you do not have the patience for that, I would strongly advise, like, on your phone or with an Apple Pencil, sort of doing your entries online, because that can be really, really annoying. I do not necessarily have this problem. If I try and make my handwriting look nice, then I have that problem. But usually that's not an issue for me. So if your handwriting is really, 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 really slow, then you should reconsider writing in a book. And to go along with that, does that bother you? If it does not bother you that you are a really slow writer, why would you change that? You don't need to. If it does bother you though, I would definitely recommend either not journaling or journaling on your phone or on an iPad, because you know. And also something that I don't see a lot of people actually talk about, which is not really a question, it's more of a statement, but there is the possibility, if you're bad at texting and bad at writing, or you just don't like either, you can always like go into the Notes app or go into Word and stuff and just like speak what you want to say into the application. And sometimes it doesn't understand you fully, but it's a lot quicker if you just really feel like you need to get your feelings out. But that also doesn't work all the time, because sometimes you're not in an environment where you can speak out loud. So those are 3 really good possibilities, I think, of, different types of ways you can journal: on your phone, speaking into your phone, and on paper. Is it really important to you that you can back it up? And what I mean by that is, like, books, if for some reason something really horrible happens, I hope this doesn't happen to any of you watching, but if for some reason your house burns down, or you have just like a slight fire, or just, they get damaged or lost or something, if you lose a journal, you're not getting that back. Of course, you can look for it and find the journal if it's not, disintegrated, but usually it is a lot safer sort of to withhold those memories by doing it on the cloud, because being able to back it up is not something you can usually do with journals, unless you're really sufficient by doing this one thing, which is taking a photo of every individual entry you've ever done and then saving that, and then if something really, 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 really bad happens, you can always go back through your photo library, retrieve those photos, and then rebind them into a book. That would be a very lengthy process, and I hope that happens to none of you, but it is also something to consider if you are really anxious about losing those precious memories or losing those precious documentaries of what happens in your life. That is also something to consider. Do you have the space / will you make the space? I think another thing people don't talk about a lot is if you do consistently journal, it does take up a lot of space. And the question is, are you willing to give that up for journals? In this society, places do cost a lot of money, and most people who are not with a partner or just live alone have a very small accommodation. So are you willing to make the space, or do you have the space to be able to make that decision? Also, do you have the financial freedom to make that decision? Because sometimes all you can do is journal on your phone because you don't have that sort of flexibility with what you make. But usually journals take very long to fill up. The one I'm on at the moment has taken me so far 125 days to fill up. So it is a long time, filled with lots of memories, and you can get really, really cheap ones. Like, I don't know what country you live in, but I assure you that there will be somewhere where you can get it for like £2 to £5, francs, US dollars, whatever currency you're in. There will be somewhere where you can get it cheap. So, do you have the time, and will you make the time? Is another really good question, because journaling does take up a lot of time if you're doing it by hand. Not a lot of time like every single day, but like collectively. It takes me anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes to journal every single evening. I journal in the evening because that's what works best for me, but there will be a video coming out talking about should you journal in the evening or in the morning. That will be in the works, but it does take quite a while, and if you're willing to make that sacrifice overall, not day to day, but just in general, then I guess journaling by hand is the way for you. And with that, we have finished the section of sort of journal related by hand questions, because the next questions I will be asking you are sort of to do with you've made that decision that you don't want to journal by hand, which I totally understand. Wouldn't be my decision, but you know, you do you. And in that, for that reason, you are now considering journaling on a PC, on iPad, or your phone. And these next questions are for those people. So if you have already decided to journal by hand, please stick around. There is one extra question for you at the end, but this is for the people who, you know, want to journal on their technology. So first question, do you already have an app in mind? This is very important, because if you are going to store your data and your precious memories and days on an application, you need to be able to like truly trust this application. I have like a couple recommendations that I would use personally if I didn't journal by paper, but you can also do your own research in your own time. The Notes app on an Apple device, Word from Microsoft, Notions, which is like an organizing sort of, almost like Notes, but a bit more sort of high tech. And then Text to Yourself, which I see almost nobody talk about, but actually I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about it. But just text yourself when you're having those feelings, and then just like do it every day or do it every time something is going on. And you can save those texts by screenshotting them or just by having your text messages synced to the cloud. And that is also a great alternative to using an app if you just want to text yourself with those sort of feelings like you're talking to somebody else. Is it really important to be able to access on the go? Because if it is really, really, really important to you, definitely on your phone is the way to go. I bring my journal not that many places. I bring my journal every time I go traveling, every time I stay somewhere overnight, and every time I'm going to an event where I think I won't be able to journal when I come back. So those are the 3 places that I personally bring my journal. But if you had your phone on you anyway, you would be able to journal way more places. So that's really important to keep in mind. And the last one for the technology section is, do you plan on adding colours/drawings? Though this is not as important, I also think Procreate is a very nice alternative if you're very artsy with your journal entries and you don't want to use a book for some reason. Procreate is definitely the vibe of drawing by hand, but you can also import a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to in a normal journal. I also think if you are really that artsy and for some reason Procreate doesn't work for you, or you don't want to invest that money, even though you'd have to invest in a journal, you know, it's $10.99 for Procreate, I think last time I checked, don't quote me on that. But if for some reason you like the feel of paper more, definitely, you know, journal by hand. But I think Procreate is a very good alternative. And lastly, we have come to the question that is so important, that is hardly ever spoke about, which is, will you keep up with it? Do you have the money, the time, and the resources to not do so? Because I see a lot of people, me personally included, everybody's guilty of this, of buying notebooks you don't use. Whether it's to journal, to take notes, for work, or whatever you use those notebooks for. Some people just don't have the flexibility to be able to buy notebook after notebook and then not keep up with journaling. So I think you need to really give a talk to yourself. Am I going to make this investment with my money and then make this investment with my time? Because otherwise they will keep stacking up, those journals or those unfinished notebooks that you never use. And first of all, that's not good for your space, and it's not good for your bank account. So those are the questions you should consider when deciding, should I journal in a book or should I journal on my phone? Then we will get into the roundup of how did you answer your questions, and based on that, what are you going to do? So I have tallied up all of the questions that have been asked today, and I am pretty sure, editing, Josephine, you can pop it up on the screen, but I'm pretty sure that it is 10 questions we asked today. So out of these 10, if you answered 10 or 10 to 7 positively, like yes or I will try, then I definitely recommend that you journal in general and probably by hand. Of course, you can make those decisions by yourself, but 10 till 7, I think you should journal, and I think you should journal by hand. If you got 5 to 3, I think you want to take some time to consider, 6 to 3, I think you want to take some time to consider if this is the right move for you, if you should invest this time and money into, it's not really a hobby, I mean I guess it is, because I've made a whole YouTube channel about it, but if you're really willing to make that investment of time and money, and for these people I would recommend assessing, but also maybe lean towards doing it on your phone, like journaling on your phone or your iPad. And 1 to 3, I would definitely recommend not journaling. I know this is hard because, you know, I want everybody to journal. That's like my controversial take. But I really do think if you only answered 1 to 3 of these questions correctly, there is no correct answer, but positively, and you've really thought about it and you only got 1 to 3 right, didn't get any right, but you know what I mean, then I personally think you should not journal. But if you really want to try, I would recommend just starting off in your phone or on your phone on a notes app or something, just so you know you have that flexibility to stop whenever you want. So thank you guys for watching this video. That is the overview and the end. So if you like this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to this channel. I promise there will be more videos. There will be someday. I don't know when that day is, but we will try to get there with the videos. Okay? That is a promise. Okay? Give me your hand. I'll promise you that we will try to make more videos. I'm saying we, but me. I will try and make more videos, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, evening, morning. Bye!